SOFA SENSEI'S on the akhi&saltfish digital network. You're joined, of course, by Mika Van. And today we have a very, very special guest. He is a top 10 middleweight in Britain. He has been in a barnstormer with Denzel Bentley. And way back, he was signed to Hayemaker Ringstar. So we're going to get stuck into all those amazing points in his career. But moreover, he's got a fight coming up with Kieron Conway. And if you didn't know, let me turn the music down and tell you about this. SOFA SENSEI'S is based in Northampton. Kieron Conway is based in Northampton. But who's on the podcast right now? Linus Udofia. So let's give it up to him. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm all good. I'm very well. All done nice and early today. So all my training's out of the way. I'm just chilling now. So I'm really good. I'm really, really good. How are you?
Wicked. Listen, I'm doing well. And I just want to say, we had it arranged with Linus earlier in the week to record a podcast, but he said he wanted to give us his proper time, give us, the chance to get a full episode out of him. So we said, let's rearrange it for Wednesday. And a man of his word, here we are on a Wednesday getting it done. So I really appreciate that, Linus. And again, thankful for your, opportunity to chat to you. So before, we get stuck into sort of your career currently, you first popped onto our radar when you were signed to Hayemaker Ringstar. This was the whole sort of comeback of David Haye. I think it's Hayemaker 2.0. It was the shows on Dave. And he took you along as sort of his roster. So what was some of that journey like? Because I'm really interested in from your side how you got stuck into being on prime time next to former heavyweight champion of the world.
So that came about. That came about through my management and obviously Hayemaker were working with my manager Steve Goodwin on fighters they had to showcase talent with, and obviously put my name forward. And we met David Haye, and he just said, "Listen, we're here. You know what I'm about. You know what Hayemaker's about." And we want to do big things. We want to come bring boxing back to England on terrestrial TV, obviously, hence Dave and things like that. We want to bring it back and we want to do big things. So, this is what we want to do. This is the first things he said to me. We didn't really talk too much. We just said a few words, exchanged a few words, and had the papers there, signed it, and started fighting. First fight on Dave was against Eric Wankwo. 5th round KO.
And that's what you want. I think that first Dave show drew was it 1 million viewers, or it had the highest ever viewing figures for Dave. So to be scoring a 5-round knockout on that is a crazy platform to get your name out there. And like I say, it worked, because ever since then we've been following your career, and we've been watching you. Now, talking of following your career, I want to take it right back to the start. So before even boxing now. So according to your box rec record, and this may be wrong, but according to your box rec, you were born in Nigeria. Is that right?
Yeah, born in Nigeria, came here in 2000.
Nice. So what was that journey like then for you? How old was you in 2000?
8 years old. I don't really remember it too much, to be honest with you. I don't really remember it too much. I remember what it was like to be in Nigeria. I remember all of that. I remember where I lived. I remember going to school and things like that. But the transition over to England was very. I'd say it was quite difficult. It's quite difficult to transition over, and it was really hard. It was really hard. There was a lot of things that, because in Nigeria we obviously we speak English here and there.
Yeah.
But we have so many different dialects in Nigeria, and we speak Nigerian. Where I'm from, we speak Efik, and that's it. And we write in English, but we don't speak English.
Right.
So when I first came to this country, I didn't know a lick of. I didn't really know a lick of English, and it was quite difficult. But now I sound like I've been here my whole life.
You're one of the lads, man. Don't worry about it. I mean, when we talk about that transition you were talking of, what were some of the challenges that you experienced then? And I suppose, as SOFA Sensei, what I'm trying to get at is, did that lead to your ambition to want to be a fighter, or was that already there when you was in Nigeria?
No, I wanted to be football. I wanted to be a footballer. And to be fair, I achieved it. I played for Ipswich when I was about 14, 15.
See?
And it was okay. It just weren't for me. It weren't for me after I say it weren't for me. It weren't really. I didn't enjoy it. I was maybe too young or what. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I always had this mindset of it's always going to be good. It's always going to be. It's always on the up and up. It's always up. It's always positive. It's always this. Always good things. No bad things happen. And when I got released, yeah, that was bad. I never really looked back after that.
When you say that was bad, I mean, how old was you when you got released?
About 15.
15. Okay, so at that point in your life, generally, you've got exams coming up. Real life, that school real life is hitting you. So talk us through some of the feelings you're experiencing at that time. Like when you got released, are you saying, okay, football's done then? I'm not interested in that anymore. I need to find what else I'm interested in. Are you now focused on school? Are you feeling a little bit lost? Talk us through some of that.
It was a bit of both. Like, when I got released, I didn't really want to play football anymore, but I still played because I love playing football. But
yeah.
I just didn't like that side of it. I went down the leagues and played for different teams. Dunstable. I never played for Luton, actually, funny enough. Played, with it down the leagues, went down the counties, and ended up just playing. Now I just play to kind of play.
Yeah.
The whole transition was a bit, and then I focused. Obviously, I had to focus on school. GCSEs were coming up, and then obviously going into college and things like that. I had to focus on that side of it.
Yeah.
While I still did stuff, but I've always loved combat, and I've always done combat. I've always done kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. I've done loads of things. I've done a little bit of Muay Thai. I've done Taekwondo, karate. I've done so many different things, and there was nothing that really interested me until I did boxing at 17. I started boxing at 17. And that's when I was like, actually, I really like this, and this is actually quite sick. I'm not bad at it. And then I had my first fight. At 18, my 18th, and it was just that was it. Like as soon as I did that, I knew that this boxing was what I was going to do for the foreseeable.
Yeah, I think that
was the situation.
I think there's a great lesson in there because, I'm sure there's going to be sort of young people listening to this right now, and whether they get released from football or not, they might get released from what they thought their passion would be. And it goes to show that you turning yourself to boxing at 17 years of age, looking where you are now, that's a huge inspiration to a lot of people listening, that actually things can turn around, you can find your passion and you can go and pursue it and be successful at it. So I think that's a great lesson there. When you say you had your first fight at 17, what sort of structure was that fight? Was it a white collar fight? Was it an amateur fight?
It was an amateur fight, yeah. I was boxing for a club in Luton, and I had my first amateur fight against a club, Hemel.
Okay.
And it was really it was just unreal. It was just like after they announced the decision, they put my hand up. It was just, I can't explain to you. I can't explain to you what that feeling was. That it was incredible. Just like, oh my God, I'm just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I can't believe I've just. Yeah. I can't believe I've just done this. I can't believe I've just absolutely done this. It's actually the feeling of it. It's really indescribable, and that was what, like, it was like a drug. It was just like I couldn't stop.
So what were some of your experiences with the other martial arts then? Because you mentioned loads there: jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, taekwondo. What were some of your experiences with that? Was that a serious pursuit of yours, or was it just a sort of hobby type thing?
It was. They were all serious. I wanted to find out what I would enjoy, and then take it seriously. You know what I mean? I wanted to find something that I would enjoy, I'd click with, and be like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And all those things I was doing, they were all good. You know what I mean? It was all good. I enjoyed them. But there wasn't anything that really sparked. Nothing really sparked anything, Nothing really sparked any interest. And I guess kickboxing was really good. Kickboxing was pretty good. I really enjoyed that. But other than, kickboxing was really good. And wrestling was really fun. But I liked striking. I liked hitting something. So I just until I found boxing. When boxing came along, it just hooked me. Boxing came along and just hooked me. It was one of those things that it was the whole scientific factor of it. It was the hit and don't get hit.
Yeah.
Making someone, it was chess. It's high speed chess. So it was it was really good. It was just an incredible. It was just, I can't explain it to you. I'm really trying to. It's really hard to find the words. I really can't explain it to you. It's so hard to find the words, but it's something that hooked me on, and it was the science of it, the making someone miss, to hit here, then to slip here, and to countering someone's counter, things like that. When I was learning all those things, it was just really addictive.
Sick. So when we talk of your amateur career, how long was that career? Was it
3 years?
3 years. Okay. So how many fights did you get in 3 years?
Yeah, sure. 40.
Okay. Nice. You know what? To be fair, we've spoken to a variety of boxers, and very rarely, do they have extensive amateur careers. So it's very interesting that, you got 40 under your belt. So Luton as a location, has it got a sort of boxing culture about it, or was it quite difficult to forge a career in Luton?
Luton's always been big, boxing wise. It's always had a massive cult following. Luton's always had a massive following, and what do you call it? Whether it's back Graham Earl days, back to Billy Shore, coming down to now our era, Hay Prosper, Jordan Reynolds, myself, Frankie Story, Ticey, Sam King, there's areas of all these boxers coming through, and it's it's just massive. Luton's always had a massive boxing community, and it's been the same. There's so many different boxing clubs. There's so many different boxing clubs in Luton, amateur boxing clubs as well. And they just, some honourable mentions. I think there's Marham ABC, Hoko Ring ABC, Club Lucy, I think it is Lucy ABC, Luton Academy, Luton Town Boxing Club, Ringcraft Boxing Club. There's like 7 off the bat. There's so many different places that still do these. You know what I mean? And there's so many different places in Luton to go to for it. And it's. I'm pretty sure I've missed some as well. But my apologies.
Nah, listen, I think you mentioned way more than you missed, so don't worry about that. By the way, if you are one of the clubs that got shouted out by Linus just there, drop us a comment below and let us know that he mentioned you, because we want to know who's in the audience. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about then was, I looked at your record, right? And your first 10 to 12 fights seem to be at York Hall. It's like you had a residency there. So talk to me about that, because you was fighting there local. Again, we've spoken to a bunch of fighters on this show, and they all talk about either wanting to fight at York Hall or the privilege of fighting at York Hall. And basically, it looks like for a period of time you owned York Hall, man. So talk to us about that. Was that intentional?
York Hall's as where my management and actual team. That's where we done a lot of the shows and things like that. I've been very fortunate to just have a lot of experience in York Hall, because York Hall is realistically one of those once in a lifetime experiences. It's hard to explain. It's just so iconic. There's nothing really too glamorous about York Hall. It's not glamorous, but the history and the heritage it holds there. I've been privileged to fight there. You get when I won my English title there. When I first had a title, I won my English title there, and that was just incredible. That was just such an incredible experience, because I think I'd sold maybe like 800 tickets, 800 or so tickets, and all those people in there, when you hear them roar and singing, it is deafening.
Yeah. So 800 tickets. You had quite a.
It is deafening, and it's just it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But I've been talking about. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I think we lost you there. I think my connection was a little bit dodgy there, so I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, 800 tickets. It was just, York Hall's been massive to me. York Hall's been iconic to me. It's a lot of even. There's so much around there. There's so many different things there, like in York Hall in general. There's so many, there's so much that I can go on about. And there's so many different restaurants. There's a restaurant I used to go to after the fights. There's this, there's that. You know what I mean? I know so much there. York Hall's home to me. I love York Hall's home to me.
Give us some of your favourite memories then, because, like I say, we hear about it as an iconic place, but I've never been yet. I'd like to catch a fight there at some point, but give us some of your favourite memories from York Hall.
23rd, yeah. September 23rd, get yourself down to York Hall. I'll get you within special treatment. I'll get you everything sorted. And I'll show you what York Hall's about. Because my boy, Brad Paul's is fighting the English title there. Listen,
go on then.
If you want to get anything into York Hall, come down September 1st. September 23rd, come down. I'll sort you out.
All right, appreciate that. What I'll do is I'll DM you and we'll get the details and we'll go from there, because like I say, I haven't been to York Hall yet. Sounds like it will be, like I say, an iconic location for boxing. We spoke to a man called Reese Taylor. He was the UK's shortest pro, and he's fought loads of people on loads of shows. He's a journeyman, and we said to him, "What was the highlight of your career?" And he said, "For me." Because he retired basically on the show. And he said, for me, the highlight of my career would be fighting at York Hall. So, and it's a venue very many people in the sport hold dearly. So I really appreciate the offer about September 21st as well. So 23rd, so we'll let you know. Right. So when it comes to that exposure that you got with Hayemaker, Ringstar and Dave, I noticed that was then a shift in some of the locations you were fighting in. So then we saw you fighting in the O2. What sort of changes did you notice that made for your career? I.e., did you get more followers? Did you get better sponsors? What were some of the changes you noticed?
Yeah, just like you said, I've got more followers from it. I've got more of a following because you're on a bigger platform, you're in a bigger venue, you're in a more prestigious and more prestigious venue and things like that. You're fighting at the O2, you're fighting here, you're fighting at you're fighting at these big places. So yeah, I got more of a following that way. I got more sponsorship because I'm on a bigger platform with a bigger name and things like that. Yeah, I had a lot of things, but no matter what, York Hall always hold a place in my heart. A lot of my iconic moments came from there. A lot of my debut kit was at York Hall. My first title was at York Hall and things like that. There's so many different things that I'm gonna hold dearly from York Hall. But all these different places, like fighting at the O2 Indigo, headlining at the O2 Indigo, fighting under a pay-per-view and world title card, Derek Chisora, Dillian White 2, and Buddy Edwards in his world title. I mean, it was just crazy. Like I fought in all these, places, it's crazy. And that was all, via Hayemaker. I came through. I got on that card because of Hayemaker. So, do you know what I mean? Because of David Haye. So, and I'm very grateful. I'm at a point in my life. I'm just very grateful to have gone through what a lot of people that come from where I've come from, no GB squad, no Olympic medal, no nothing like that, and just I've managed to get myself to this point, it's I can sit back and kind of say, I'm definitely not done yet, but I'm very proud of myself and what I've done.
Talking of having those moments you can talk about and being proud of yourself, and York Hall being the home of some of your most iconic performances, I need to talk to you about that British title fight with Denzel Bentley, because that was a display. And there's something about the British title. Whenever it's on the line, at whatever weight class, fighters just show up. Your heart was on the line. You really stuck it on Denzel Bentley, and it was a close fight. I'm pretty sure you won on one of the cards, right? Yeah, you won on one of the cards. So it was a split decision win for Bentley. But tell me about that fight from your perspective.
I thought we started the fight really well, really sharply. We did see that Denzel didn't start fast. He didn't really start fast. And we tried to take advantage of that as much as we can, kept our composure and stayed on job. Stayed focused, made sure we didn't put a foot wrong. And then he came into the fight through the mid rounds. And I felt like I started fighting the wrong fight. I started trying to get involved and fighting his fight when I should have just stayed on the outside and boxed like I did in the first few rounds. And then it kind of brought him back into the fight. So now walking in towards the 8th round onwards, it was, everyone was kind of went around a piece. And, giving Denzel his flowers, he hurt me. Not a lot of people see it. He hurt me in the 8th round.
Right.
He threw a right hand. We both threw a right hand. And I see his one coming. And I was like, I think I can slip this and get mine first. So I've gone for it. And he caught me right on top of the eye. And everything went black for a second. And I felt my knee touch the ground. and I come up straight away. So I bluffed it. I'm a good liar. I bluffed it, and the ref didn't see it, and got out of the round. I think there was like 15 seconds left of the round. I got out of the round. He came in and tried to kind of capitalize on that, and I got out of the round. Got back to my boxing in the next couple rounds, and I felt like when it got to the 11th and 12th round, I'd sat down in the stool and I felt like I'd done enough to beat up.
Right.
And, in hindsight, me and my team and everyone, we all made the wrong judgment call, which was as long as we don't get put on our arse in the 12th round, we've won the fight. And, and again, at the end of the day, no matter who, what team said it or who said it, I made the decision to take my foot off and perform like I had already won the fight. So, I'll take accountability and saying, yeah, I did because it would have changed the division. It would have changed a division if I came out and kind of put some punches together and, was scoring and outboxing him. If I'd come in, and it would have changed the division of the scorecard. So, it would have probably put the drawn card in my favor. But it wasn't a drawn card. It would have probably put one of the scorecards either in my favor or it would have drawn the fight.
Yeah.
So it's one of them. It's one of them, and that's how I saw it. Obviously, the result was the result. When they said the result, I was surprised, but I was annoyed straight away because I was cross because I straight away knew I chose to do the wrong thing.
So I can see in the way you're responding to the question that you're very reflective about that moment, but also you're taking complete ownership of the decisions you made in the ring at that time. So can you talk to us a little bit about the aftermath? Because again, some of the sentiments we picked up from other fighters is, of course, when you win, you've had 18 wins before this fight. And of course, people are, in your corner, they support you, they want to see you win, and this is fantastic. But when you suffer that first loss in particular, and it was for a British title, what are some of the thoughts going through your mind at that time? And how are people treating you?
I was fortunate enough to, I've got a very tight-knit crowd. I've got a very tight-knit circle, and they've supported me ever since. They've supported me for a long time, and, I'll owe them more than, I'll owe them more than they'll ever know. And I appreciate the support more than they'll ever know. What I felt straight away was, I was very. It was a mixture of emotions. It was a very massive mixture of emotions. It was denial. I didn't do that. Immediately, I was like, I didn't lose that fight. And then I went into the dressing room and see all the people around me. There was a lot of people that were all over me before the fight, in a sense of media and things like that. A lot of people were all over me. A lot of people wanted interviews. A lot of people did this. And the only people that gave me time after that fight there's three people. There was three people on three channels. So before the fight, there was maybe 50 or 60 different channels I was doing interviews with and things like that. And after the fight, only like three or three people gave me their time. And I don't forget them. And they'll always have first priority to anybody else. Because they could have gone and been in Denzel's dressing room, been interviewing Denzel and things like that.
Yeah.
So for them to turn around and be like, not only interview you, but we're just going to spend some time with you because this isn't a nice time for you right now. We just want to. I'm not going to put a camera in your face straight away. I just want to sit with you for a minute, and then do you want to chat? Do you want to chat? Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
It was one of those. And those people will be like, I don't really have too many friends in boxing. I don't really hold too many people the highest regard in boxing, but those people I hold very highly because that shows a lot of character. A lot of people normally go and give time to the winner. And, this is fair. It's the game's the game. That's how it goes. So what I'm saying is I've noticed what those people have done, and they'll always have my time and respect.
Wow. So is it's that obvious then? 50-3, win versus lose. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
It's a cold sport, man.
Fortunately for me, I've got a very good, it's very cold. I've got a very good network of people around me. Some of my closest friends that were there. I went out after, and they were all there waiting for me. I had to do a drug test for UCAD.
Yeah.
And it was taking a long time to produce samples and things like that. So, I couldn't get out straight away. I got out, and I managed to wiggle out without producing a sample. I managed to wiggle out and then see them. But then I had to get back in and produce a sample and things like that. And it was just good to see all my loved ones, my mum, all my friends. They were all just waiting outside the venue, like waiting for me. And that's real shit, man. It's those are my people, and that's all that really matters to me. That's all I really cared about. And I was very. It was weird. It was weird. So that was immediately after the loss, and then a couple of weeks later, you kind of you watch the fight back, and then you're watching it in a state of anger because you know the outcome, and you're watching yourself, and you're getting overcritical, and you watch it and you get different outcomes. Like, I've watched it a few times, and I'm like, hey, I won that. And then I've watched it and I've gone, nah, that was a draw. Then I've watched it and I've gone, yeah, Denzel beat me. Right. Then I've watched it, you know what I mean? I've watched it a few times, and then in the end, you just go, you know what? Let's just learn. Let's just see what we did wrong. Let's just, it is what it is. The result was the result. And, it was one of those. It's just one of those. I watched it and I kind of used it to push on. And I think it's made me 10 times the fighter that I was, as opposed to if I'd won the fight.
So you're at peace with that result now?
Oh yeah, massively. I was at peace maybe 4 weeks after. Okay. 4 weeks.
So
that's when I got back in the gym.
Would you say that Denzel Bentley fight was the hardest fight of your career, or is there a different one that was harder?
With all due respect, it wasn't the hardest fight of my career. He is the highest level fighter I've ever fought. It wasn't the hardest fight in a sense of I did everything perfect. I prepared as diligently as I prepared. I did everything. I was ahead of everything, mentally, emotionally, physically. I was bang on, and everything was just perfect. I did everything perfect for that fight, and my preparation was great. It still was not my hardest fight. My hardest fight, I'd say, was when I fought Tyler Denny for the English title.
Right.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of. There was a lot of things that I was personally going through myself. I experienced a death in my friendship group, and it was very close to the fight there, and it was quite sudden. It was all raw. The funeral was like right before the fight as well. It was very raw. There was a lot of raw. It was a very raw time because obviously I'm training for the biggest fight of my life and my first title. There's a lot, and this massive event has just happened as well, and I'm dealing with that, but having to suppress my emotions because I need to prepare and get ready for Tyler Denny, and it was incredibly difficult because it was just in life as well. Things weren't all great at home and things like that. Things weren't all great. I wasn't in the greatest place. But you still got to do what you got to do. You got to show up. You got to win. And fortunately for me, I performed. I did everything I needed to do. I kept, I compartmentalized whatever emotions I was going through and kind of just got in the ring and did what I had to do. And I remember that fight was so emotional because when the result was announced, I just couldn't stop crying uncontrollably, and everyone kept on saying to me, "Oh, it's so good to see how happy you are to win this." And I went, you know what? It's not because I'm happy to win it. I can actually show some emotion for what I've been suppressing for the last few weeks. Like now I can actually grieve in peace, and I can actually grieve for what's been happening. And a lot of emotion came out. So, and that was a hard fight. Tyler Denny, man, he's a dog, and I had to earn that title that night. I woke up the next morning and I had a headache for about 5 days.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think you've almost blown my mind a little bit because we look at fighting as a physical act, right? And I know people talk about, this game's 90% mental and 10% physical. I know those cliches, but you explaining there some of the things you had to go through in the lead up to the fight, and then that outpour of emotion after the fight it's really, really, really an incredible skill you've got, man, to be able to switch things off like that, perform like you performed, and that, you know, like, it's really tough. So, you know, the human side of me wants to say, you know, sorry for having to go through that, but equally, as a fan of the sport, that's why we love you guys as fighters, right? Because you put it all on the line, no matter the circumstances. So I think that's really, really impressive, man. Honestly, that's incredible. And from SOFA Senseis to yourself, keep going, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you got the title on that day, and I think when you know you can dig deep like that, the rest of your career, like you say, if a loss wasn't your hardest fight, you know, when you're mentally tuned in, you're a hard guy to beat, which I think is an incredible thing to know about yourself. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the division. The middleweight division is on fire right now in Britain, in that domestic scene. So I'm going to throw a few names at you if you don't mind. I want you to give me a few thoughts on those people and what they may mean for you in your career. So we'll start with someone you're familiar with, Denzel Bentley. Do you see that fight?
Yeah, top guy.
Yeah.
Top guy, man. He's a top guy, proper gentleman, man. He's someone I consider a friend. We've shared a lot of time together, not just fighting, but we do a lot of commentary work together. We do a lot of sparring as well. He's been my main sparring partner for this Kieron Conway camp. And so you know, he's I've got a lot of time for him, man. He's a really cool guy, man. He's you know, he's another guy that will always have my time and respect. And
that's not awkward, you know, you two sparring each other. That's just the norm.
No, not really. No, it's learning. The game's the game, man. We learn. No better person to be working with than the person that beat you.
I respect that. Hamza Shiraz.
Yeah, good fighter, young. I think he's a little bit. He's a very good fighter. Very good fighter. Quite imposing. I think he's a little bit. He needs to be slowed down a little bit, though. He needs to be slowed down a little bit and kind of built a little bit more, you know, vicariously. Like, I think he needs to be a little bit more structured instead of just trying to attack everything. Because he's young. He's still young.
Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah, very good fighter. Classy fighter. Very good fight as well. A very good fight.
Yeah, it was a wicked fight.
I never say no to any challenges. But yeah, Chris Eubank is a very good fighter, and he's kind of stepped his. I don't know about you, but I feel like he's stepped away from his dad's name quite a lot throughout his whole career. You know, I feel like he's stepped away from his dad's name quite a lot and actually made his own. This is him. He's Chris Eubank Jr. and this is Senior. You know.
Yeah, I think you can definitely see the similarities, but they have their unique qualities too. So the whole, I think that the last 2 years have been really good to Junior, because the whole, I need to be 50% to beat Conor Ben. That was a great line. You know, he was sponsored by KFC. The whole 60%, Liam Smith, losing to Liam Smith and then coming back and dominating it in the way that he did is a great thing he can add to his own legacy, despite being his father's son. So I think, yeah. In terms of his career, the last 2 years have been really good to him and his profile and whatnot. So, yeah, interested to see where he goes next, but that's for another conversation, I suppose. Final name on the list is someone who you're going to be familiar with, Kieron Conway.
Yeah, good fighter. He's a very good fighter. He doesn't do a lot of things wrong. In the ring, he doesn't do a lot of things wrong. He's quite, you know what I mean? He's quite well schooled. And yeah, it comes from a good crop. And I think he's a very good fighter, and I'll need to be 100% to beat Kieron.
So, I suppose without giving away the game plan, what are your expectations of this fight with Kieron Conway? What's your vision telling you will happen?
Gonna be a good fight. I'm saying, you know, my vision's telling me I'm going to win the fight. I haven't ran through the possibility of not winning the fight. It hasn't. It's, you know what I mean. It hasn't come in. It hasn't come to me. But it's going to be a good fight. I think it's two good fighters, two really good styles, and I think it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be good for people supporting and just a British boxing in general.
Yeah, he's a very classy boxer, so I can see your styles mixing very well. When it comes to, I know you probably won't want to answer this question, but I have to ask it as a SOFA Sensei. What would be next? Let's say you get through Kieron Conway. What would be next for you in your ideal world?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I can't really answer it. I haven't thought that far ahead.
No, fair enough. So my next question for you is around you as a fighter. So if you could tell me what your best attribute is it your speed? Is it your power? Is it your fighting IQ? Is it your tenacity and heart? What would you say your best attribute is?
Mindset, I think. That mindset to be able to not only lock in, obviously I've got the determination, you have to have it, the consistency, the drive for when things go bad. It's mindset in a whole, like to listen, to follow a game plan, even if you don't agree with it, to do this, to change it up when it's not going well, to stick with it. Like it's my mindset, really. I think my mindset is what separates me from a lot of people.
What do you think made that mindset for you?
I think just years and years of just knowing that nothing comes easy, and if you want it, you got to go get it. You got to get up, and no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you, no matter where you are in life. No one's coming to save you. You got to do it yourself. So I think it's just years and years of. I've always had that mentality ever since I was a kid.
And just talking of, if you want it, you got to go get it. Could you outline for the viewers today what your day's been like, just so they have an idea about what this level of dedication is?
Yeah, I'll start from yesterday, because yesterday's going to sound a lot crazier than today. But yesterday, 6 a.m. I had to do 6K run, get back in, make something quickly, have a shower, sleep, wake up about 10, make breakfast, go to the gym, literally, because I'm living on the same motel complex as where the gym is, walk over to the gym, train, and then come back, chill for a bit, cook, make some food, this and that, shower, weigh myself and stuff, have a quick nap, and then go back, do some S&C, and then come back and chill for the evening. And then today in the morning, I woke up, I had to go sparring, come back, made some food, showered, weighed myself, chilled out, went to get some more food from the shop, come back, cook again, and then go finish my last conditioning session, and then get back in, make some food, ate it before I jumped on, had a protein shake, and now I'm sitting here chatting to you.
Damn, bro. You've been busy. That sounds crazy. I mean,
Busy, mate. That's for 2 days.
And you're talking about weighing yourself every day just to see if you're on weight or in and around weight.
You have to.
Madness. It's that dedication.
You perform your best at a certain. You perform your best at a certain weight. I perform my best at a certain weight, and then obviously you've got to cut to your weight category, and then you rehydrate and re-feed back to that weight so you can perform in a ring at that weight.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you are right now when you're getting all these sessions. You need to make sure you've got enough energy. You're not too low in weight. You're not too heavy. You know what I mean? Everything needs to be quite bang on, because you can't afford to do anything wrong. You can't afford to do a lot of things wrong.
So, a couple of things I want to talk to you about. Earlier, we spoke about Chris Eubank Jr.'s legacy and separating that from his father's. What do you hope that when you leave the sport of boxing, your legacy will be? One of the greats in Britain that won a lot of things, and was not only a good fighter inside the ring, but a good person outside of the ring, inspiring youth, and actually a genuinely good person that can actually inspire not just men, but young kids, young boys, young girls to go after what they want to actually do. I love that. And I think, there's been a few moments during this conversation where you've spoken about your resilience, your toughness, your adversity, but also your, like you say, your mindset of approaching objectives with a certain toughness that I think has served you really, really well so far. So I'm sure people can take something from that. The final thing I want to talk to you about is, it's a topic that I don't think gets addressed enough in boxing. And I'll sort of understand why, but while we've got this platform, I want to address it if I can. Tris Dixon released a book called Damage, where he talks about the damage sustained in boxing as a sport. And he sort of challenges the sport in a way to acknowledge it, address it, and deal with it. Now, obviously, there are certain limitations within the sport of boxing where obviously you're going to get hit in the head. But do you ever consider the impact of that head trauma? What it does to you now, what it might do to you later? Does it ever cross your mind, or you leaving that for retirement?
No, not really. The only way I'd think about it and consider it and kind of move, what's the word? Diligently about it is in the sense of, okay, cool, yeah, you're getting hit in the head. You are getting hit in the head. However, the game is to hit and don't get hit. So it's down to you and your team to be in a state where you are doing the rules of boxing, hit and don't get hit. You know what I mean? The less you get hit, the less punishment you take, the more you retire your faculties. That's what's about. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, having a tear up, having wars, none of that, and none of that makes me. None of that gets me excited. Boxing gets me excited. You know what I mean? When I have a chat with someone, I don't get me excited. I want to outbox someone.
Yeah. You want to show your skill, and that's better than theirs.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Look, I think over the course of this conversation, it's been very, very clear why people like Haye were interested in your career, because you're an incredible talker. You could tell a story really, really well, and already I'm more interested in the Kieron Conway fight and where your career goes. So appreciate your time very, very much. Have you got any sponsors that this would be a good platform to shout out?
Yeah, so one of my oldest sponsors, the Family Butchers, massive guys in Luton, local family butchers. They've sponsored me ever since they sponsored me for the last 10 years, I think.
Go on.
They've also been by my side, and Pepe's Peri Peri, one of my biggest sponsors. They've been behind me for a while, and got to say, big up Luton town.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Make sure you stick around for part 2 of SOFA Senseis, where we get to know Linus Udofia a little bit more by asking him our 7 signature questions. This has been SOFA Senseis on the akhi&saltfish digital network. You've been joined by me, Kavan, and Linus Udofia. Make sure you wish him luck for his fight against Kieron Conway coming up, and we'll put all the details down below where you can follow him and stay in tune with his journey. Really appreciate it, and catch you next time. Oh, by the way, if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all those great things. It really helps us grow, and we'd really appreciate it. So take care and catch you next time.